What's up everybody, this is Scott. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, it is the OnePlus 9 Pro versus the Google Pixel 5. This is going to be like a camera comparison, also talking about what the devices are like, stabilization perspective, and all of that jazz. Currently, everything that you are seeing on screen right now is filmed on the rear-facing cameras. Hopefully, and I hope that I'm actually in shot for both of these. I believe I'm in shot. Otherwise, this is gonna look really, really awkward. So let's go ahead and get it started. Now, I have my little cheat sheet right here. The OnePlus 9 Pro comes in at a quad camera, 48 megapixel, 8 megapixel tele, which is the 48 megapixel regular, and the 50 megapixel ultra wide with a 2 megapixel monochrome. That also helps with some of the macro shots that you get out because there is a macro mode. This is a Hasselblad branded camera. Everything that you see and hear and feel also comes straight out of the Pixel 5 and the OnePlus 9 Pro. So how is the stability? How is everything that you see and hear out of both of these devices? Let me go ahead and get up going. Pretty brisk type walk for myself. So this is what you see. And how does it sound? So leave a comment below on which one you believe sounds the best. These are the internal microphones. It's not really a windy day, so to speak, but just kind of a windy day here in the capital city of Ohio. Now the back part of this is 4K 30 frames a second, which is everything that you see right now. But the OnePlus 9 Pro has the ability to do 8K at 30 frames a second. So let's turn that on. Now this is 8K 30 frames a second out of the OnePlus 9 Pro, which is crazy because nobody really has an 8K television to even look and watch this, but this is still 4K 30 frames a second. Now both of these have the ability to do 4K 60 frames a second out of both their cameras. However, according to my specs, the OnePlus 9 Pro can actually do 4K 120 frames a second on the rear-facing camera. Both of these shooters on the front are 1080p 30 frames a second, which again, I expect that out of the Pixel. If you can shoot 8K on a rear-facing camera, you should at least be able to do 4K on a front-facing camera. But then again, I digress. Whatever you want to do, OnePlus, whatever you want to do. The OnePlus 9 Pro comes in with the Snapdragon 888, 12 gigs of RAM, and 256 gigs of storage, and the Pixel 5 comes in at, according to my specs here, 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. So all in all, from a value perspective, it's really going to be dependent on what you need. The OnePlus 9 Pro definitely has more RAM and more storage, but also has a higher price tag. This particular OnePlus that I have in my possession right now is $1,069, which is not the never settle that OnePlus has kind of put their mantra on from before. And the Pixel 5 comes in at a whopping $699, but they're currently out of stock in the stores. But honestly, you'd be lucky to probably find one at like a Best Buy or something like that because they're out of stock on the Google store right now. It's probably because of both of these bad boys come with wireless charging, and then the charging on the OnePlus is actually crazy warp charging using the brick and the cord that comes in the box. Shout out to OnePlus for putting those things in the box. You can actually go 1 to 100% in what they say is 29 minutes. Now that is freaking phenomenal. So big shout out to OnePlus for that because I absolutely love that. Now you can do reverse wireless charging on the Pixel 5. And I'll be honest, I don't know if the OnePlus can do that. Leave a comment below if you believe the OnePlus can do that. But the Pixel 5 has the ability to do that. Now this is a Hasselblad camera after all, and I still believe that the Pixel is the king of all portraits. So let's go ahead and snap a couple shots and take some pictures and show you what the two different phones can do, and then let me know in the comments which ones you prefer. Let's talk about one of the things that I noticed, and you can see it actually right here in the OnePlus, and you can kind of see it right here as it relates to the Pixel 5. It's like this whole blown out sky. Now, while my face looks great in the Pixel 5 and basically everything behind me in the Pixel 5 looks great, You come over here to the OnePlus and basically everything is blown out. And I've tried to adjust the shadows and things of that nature to get this into the good shots. And it just doesn't seem to work for the OnePlus. I don't know why. It's like they still suffer from that white balance issue that just kind of plagues all of the ones that I make a comment every single comparison video as it relates to the OnePlus when it comes to the front-facing camera. Every single time, for whatever reason, this whole white balance is shot completely out of whack. And if I have to darken it, I have to darken my entire face, and then you can barely see me. Now, I can change this stuff in post-production, but that's not the point. The fact of the matter is just they still suffer from the same white balance issue. I by no means think that that's a deal breaker or anything like that, because I think that you can overcome it. But the idea is that it's just one of those things that's kind of a pet peeve for me, especially out of a $1,000 device. You would think that they could get the white balance effectively right, as they do in the Pixel 5, and the Pixel 5 is basically kind of a 3/4 of the cost, because it only comes in at $699 versus effectively $1,100, so $1,069 or $1,099 as it relates to the OnePlus 9 Pro. Now, when you look at some of the photography out of this though, I can tell you right now that I really love the photography out of both. So from that perspective, I really like what OnePlus is doing. They have a Pro mode, whereas the Pixel doesn't have that. And everything about the photography really screams that this thing is basically even, but you get more options on the OnePlus 9 Pro than you do the Pixel 5. However, for someone who's just a double tap the power button, snap shots, I gotta lean more towards the Pixel 5 and really the Pixel ecosystem as a whole. But if you're somebody who likes to get a little more creative with their shots, you can't really go wrong with the OnePlus 9 Pro. Now, from the performance perspective, everything that I can see, the OnePlus 9 Pro is absolutely a juggernaut when it comes to the performance. You're gonna do better gaming and just an overall better performance on the OnePlus 9 Pro. That doesn't mean that the Pixel 5 is a bad performer by any stretch of the imagination. It has 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, but it has that 765G chip. Now, for me and for the majority of the people, that 765 is going to be more than enough. It's going to be a mid-range price point, but it's also going to be more of a high performer for those folks that are out there. So needless to say, I would definitely lean more towards getting the value out of the dollar that you get out of the Pixel 5 at the 765G than you would at the almost $1,100 OnePlus 9 Pro. This is definitely a device that is more geared towards the individuals that are quote-unquote pro, but they're, again, at an $1,100, like, I can't get over this white balance thing. Man, they gotta really fix this. So if you had to pick one, leave a comment below with hashtag Team Pixel or hashtag Team OnePlus, whichever one you would choose to roll with. So that's it, that's all I have. Thanks for watching, and as always, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment below. See you next time.